Hi, my name is Shirley Yara, and the project that I have completed was a single case study examining how a visual checklist and a least to most prompting hierarchy can increase independent completion of a facilities check routine. Just to give a little bit of background, independent task completion is a super important skill in workplace settings, especially for individuals who benefit from clear expectations. In this case, my participant, Larry, is a 54-year-old adult who tends to perform best while working independently, however, does have difficulty consistently completing all the steps of a multi step facilities check routine. Often he would miss steps or require staff support, which made this a socially significant skill to target. So the base so the goal of this study was to see whether adding a visual checklist and structured prompting system would improve his independence. For my method, I used a multiple baseline across behavior sets design. The full task was broken down into 11 steps and divided into three sets. So in the first set, I had 5 steps. In the second set, I had 5 steps. And in the last set, I had one of the ones that he would have a little bit more trouble with, but it was just one. During baseline, Larry was just given the instruction to complete the facility checklist, and no prompts or feedback were provided. And this allowed me to see kind of naturally what he was going to produce. When intervention was introduced, Larry was given the visual checklist outlining each step. I used the least to most prompting hierarchy, meaning he first had the opportunity to complete each step independently, and if he didn't respond within 5 seconds, I then provided a verbal prompt. After completing the checklist, he received reinforcement in the form of 30 minutes of preferred independent activity, like using the computer or listening to music. Looking at the results, there was a clear pattern across all three behavior sets. During baseline, performance was very low, often near zero. However, once the intervention was introduced for each step, there was a noticeable increase in independent responding. Set 1 improved very quickly and reached high levels of independence. However, set 2 showed more gradual increase with some variability before improving. For example, right before I had done the intervention, our taught something. He was able to maintain some of the behavior already, and from my understanding, I think it was because he had already understood what a facilities checklist was prior to even giving that set. Now, set 3 stayed low during baseline and only increased after intervention was introduced, which helps demonstrate experimental control. Overall, the intervention I think was effective in increasing independent task completion. In terms of what I've learned from this project, the key takeaway is how simple supports like a visual checklist can be. At one point, Larry was not able to complete a facility checklist, but however, simply just giving him a visual checklist, it really did support, especially before I even had to step in with prompts, as this helped him promote his independency. These results can inform future interventions by showing that combining visual supports with prompting and reinforcement can be an effective strategy for teaching multi-step tasks. This could be applied to other workplaces, routines, daily living skills, or other settings. There are some limitations, though. I will say that I did do this over a short period of time, so I didn't assess long-term maintenance of the skill. I also didn't test whether the skill would generalize to other settings. In addition to that, some set steps may have been more difficult than others, which could explain variability in the data. For example, set 1 being 5 steps versus set 3 that was 1 step. It kind of looks a little wonky in the graph itself, and kind of does not help my variability there. If I were to do it again, I would include follow-up sessions just to make sure that we're doing everything correct. I'm still working with Larry, so I will be doing this in my future teachings with him, and I would also change up my sets a little bit. Overall, this project demonstrated that the intervention was super successful and resulted in meaningful improvement in independent task completion, which is a valuable outcome for increasing independence in real world settings. Thank you.